Good morning and welcome to Commissioners Court for March 11th. We have a full quorum present. Carrie, you certify the meeting was properly posted?
Yes, sir.
So please rise for prayer and pledges. Andre?
Father, we humbly bow before you this morning, seeking your presence in Commissioner's Court. Father, that we may guard our words, that we may think what we're going to say. Father, may you guard our words and take charge of what we say. Father, we just ask, Lord, for strength to that you guide these gentlemen that are making decisions for the residents of the county. Lord, we pray that you guide them and direct them. Father, I have a verse that I'd like to share with the court. It's found in Joshua chapter 1 and verse 9. Have not I commanded thee, be strong and of good courage. Be not afraid, neither be thou dismayed, for the Lord thy God is with thee whithersoever thou goest. Father, we can find great comfort in that. If we have Jesus Christ as our Lord and Savior, we know that he's with us. Father, go with us and lead us through this session in court. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor and integrity as well. Allegiance to the Texas, one state, under God, one nation.
Consent agenda contains 11 items. To pull number 11.
Yeah.
Number 9. Number 9. Diane?
No. Make a motion, we accept the consent. Pulling 9 and 11.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor, raise your right hand. Number 9, approved payment of NACO annual membership dues in the amount of $13.57.
So Patricia, I thought last year we did not renew this.
That is correct. Y'all did not last year.
Are we wanting to renew it this year?
So why did we not renew it?
Because they've never talked to us about any of this. I mean, we
Okay.
have no representation from them. That I know of. I mean, y'all know different.
No
You know?
contact with them really since I've been here.
I get their emails, but.
Yeah, I get their emails.
That's about it. I don't, I'm not.
I don't care either way.
I wondered.
I thought we approved it.
No,
Last year
we
we
didn't,
No,
we didn't approve to pay it last year.
Yeah,
Okay.
we actually was the first year we didn't.
Yeah,
pay
exactly.
It was last year. So we decided to quit last year.
Okay.
So,
Well, I mean, if they want
but
to
unless
do
y'all
us
have,
some kind of presentation or something and kind of give us a little background on, I mean, we know why we pay our tax stuff. I mean, but
Does anybody else in the county use it?
Ashland, is this the ones that said something to you over there?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
This
So we-
one, I can tell you, the county had not been a member prior to the COVID, but they were basically the source of all the information on COVID, and the Texas Association of Counties was referencing their website. And then I think the decision was made last year that the information could be obtained through Texas, but initially that we were using.
Yeah, I just lost track of it, but I don't see any reason to do it. Y'all see any reason?
Nope.
unless they give us one.
Thank you. A motion.
I'll make a motion to deny payment.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carries. Number 11, approved Tri-County Behavioral Health Care Proclamation 2024-40, declaring March 23rd, 2024 as Intellectual Development Disability Day. We got some people coming in. Good morning.
Good morning,
Morning, ladies.
everybody.
Y'all come on.
Y'all come on up. Come on.
I'm gonna read the proclamation and then we'll present it.
Good morning to you. Morning, lady.
All the people. Hey, I got a crowd.
While they're coming in.
Yes, ma'am.
While they're coming in, could we? Up 28, 29, 31. That's Gary and Ronnie Waters. 28, 37.
All right.
Good morning.
Morning. Proclamation 2024-40, whereas the month of March was first recognized as Development Disability Awareness Month by President Ronald Reagan in 1987 to bring awareness to challenges people with developmental disabilities face. And whereas in 2010, Congress passed Rosa's Law, which changed the term mental retardation to intellectual development disability. And whereas intellectual disability starts anytime before the age the child turns 18 and is characterized by differences with both intellectual functions and intellectual and deficits in adaptive behavior. And whereas developmental disabilities, DD, is a broader category of physical and mental conditions, which include of ID, which occurs before age 22 and often presents lifelong challenges. And whereas Texas has more than 500,000 adults and children with intellectual and developmental disabilities. And whereas intellectual and developmental disabilities are identified as cerebral palsy, autism spectrum disorder, Turner syndrome, Down syndrome, Fragile X syndrome, and Prader-Willi syndrome. And whereas individuals with developmental disabilities should be treated with dignity, respect, and have the opportunity to realize their full potential in school, work, or at home. And now therefore, Walker County Commissioners Court are helping to raise awareness and understanding of intellectual developmental disability and do hereby proclaim March 23rd, 2024 as Intellectual Disability Day. Signed this day.
Get a picture.
Yeah.
In front of the
Yeah,
podium.
we'll get you right here and take a picture. No, you're good. We'll peek out. Y'all want to hold this out there?
There you go.
You get that way?
Bill? Yeah, find it.
Find a hole.
All right, 1, 2, 3. We'll do it one more time. 1, 2, 3. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Well, they want one.
What?
Yeah, we're gonna grab one more for our food.
One more time. All right. Everybody right here. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. There we go.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank y'all.
Thank you. Appreciate y'all coming in. Thank you.
Carrie's gonna stamp that for y'all.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you.
No, you're fine. Thank you, mate. We haven't done a motion on it yet.
Oh, is it? Okay,
We can do that.
we'll wait till Carrie gets back.
Yeah.
We ain't closed it yet. Probably. We're gonna wait to keep on going until she's back.
Where'd she go? Well, we can't do anything without her because the attorney's looking at us.
No, I told him that it's coming.
I'm looking at
no.
Quentin. I know it's not gonna be all right.
Ain't no reason for him to stand up and button his jacket yet.
Sorry, Ally. I'm
No, that's okay.
falling down on the job.
Yeah, wait, that's your
I
job.
know. I just. Got it together today.
Would I steal that from somebody?
I don't know. It done broke it, so. we probably
Right,
should.
you're all done now.
That's okay.
It probably was mine if it broke it anyway.
My motion is to approve number 11.
Second.
Moving second, all in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carries. We're gonna skip to, is that 28?
Yeah.
We're gonna go to 28, public hearing concerning the application to cancel abandon the Austin McGathery property subdivision recorded in volume 181, page 1 of the deed records, Walker County, Texas. Hearing starts at 9:11. Anybody got anything?
I guess this your stuff in it, Ronnie.
Mhm.
You wanna say anything in public hearing? You can say it in agenda item if you need to, since it's your item, but
No, I mean,
There you go.
Andy's gonna get up now. Okay.
Nothing super material. So I guess all the property owners in this for.
Made aware.
yeah, so what this is.
Ronnie Waters, you got that here?
Brian Water. So I'm representing Evelyn Bennett. Mrs. Bennett owns lot number 8 subdivision. They bought it not knowing that there was a subdivision back in 1963 when it was first originated. So Mrs. Bennett is in a nursing home. That's my mother-in-law. So we're getting ready to divide up her property. Back in the back is this lot of the subdivision. And Jerry Benoit owns all the other lots except for one, and Mrs. Bennett owns one. So we're wanting to just abandon the subdivision so that we'd be able to cut up her property in the future so we can resell it and to pay for her to be in a nursery. That's what this is about, basically.
Ronnie, what is this Westbrook? That's the other lot?
Yeah, Tracy owns the first lot there. He has access from the back and the front of the property.
From that little side road up there.
He's good.
Always.
He's not available very often, so
Yeah.
the reason why.
He's okay.
He's taken care of.
Okay.
All right, anything else in public?
I can mention this, because the proponents of this cancellation own more than 75% of the subdivision. It's more or less a ministerial duty of you to cancel it. You don't really have a choice if the other landowners maybe.
Anybody else got public hearing? Comment?
That pretty well tells you which way it's gonna go, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Thank you.
We're gonna close at 9:14. We'll move to number 29. Discuss and take action on order 2024-39, authorizing the canceling of the Austin McGathery property subdivision record in volume 181, page 1 of the deed records.
I'll make the motion to approve agenda item number 29 as presented.
That's a revised order.
Yes, the revised order.
He just
He just
entered
given
it.
Just change some language. The court order was allowing them to file a document canceling the subdivision versus the court. So.
Not yet. They didn't say revised order.
Bill hadn't said revised order yet.
What do I have?
The only change from the two, this paragraph was updated. This paragraph, the second to last paragraph was updated to reflect that you guys were all taking action that would allow them to file a document in the deed record.
Okay, but this says order, this says order, nothing says revised order. So if I just approve the agenda item referencing that
Yeah.
order.
I just wanted the backup.
Correct,
looks
right.
Differently.
All right, that's my.
All right, we got a second? Brandon seconded. Oh,
So how is that worded again? Just
As 29 is presented.
that.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Brandon seconded. All in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carries. We're gonna go to, what's it, 31?
Gary, 31.
31.
Discuss and take action on Gary Robinson's request for variance to section B 2.2 of the Walker County subdivision regulations regarding lot depth to width ratio for plat number 2024-004, proposed replat of lot 1, block 1 and 20.16 acre reserve for Delbert Robinson 21.16 acre subdivision, Ezekiel Fort Foster Survey, 8-196 FM 1791. There you go.
So the variance request, a lot that track, it's being revised from what was a little bit shorter track to go all the way to the back line. But also ultimately, when they bring the replat, they're gonna add some lots here, but the variance request is for this lot depth, so the tracks the back line of the other properties. The owners here have questions of him.
Okay.
I don't have any questions, but if you do, you'll need to ask Gary, because because I've gone over it with him. Come on up, Gary, if you got.
Yeah, because y'all got an easement down that one side, right? Gary?
Yeah, right here.
Yeah.
So what did you?
Yeah.
This is the lot where we're doing the depth variance to make it deeper.
Okay, right.
It's changing that lot one. So I was telling them to track the back line of these other properties. You currently have family that owns these other properties here too, is that correct?
I own that.
Yeah, you own that. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Y'all got any questions, Gary?
I do.
Try to get you a question. Well, I'm gonna make a motion to approve it.
I'll second that.
Moving seconded, all in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carries.
Thank you, Gary.
Got all that. And we'll go back to number 12. Discuss and take action to ratify the agreement for the Rural Law Enforcement Salary Assistance Program, SB 22, award number. We want to say that 1A-00000252. Chief?
Morning, gentlemen. Been instructed to bring it back to court to ratify that we can start using or obligating funds out of this. And so that's kind of why we're back here. Y'all kind of like this. I don't know the proper way it needs to be set up is, but is there a way I can set it up where I don't have to be back here every 2 weeks? Or can we start Monday, I guess? Tell me the.
Well, can I pause you for a second, Chief?
Yeah.
This particular agenda item is specifically about the agreement paperwork and then, so we'll segue to what the chief's question's about. Just to give you all background, it's a two-step process. An application has to be filed and then accepted, and then the comptroller's office sends the agreement paperwork, which then has to be accepted. Because the sheriff's office must apply through the commissioner's court, the judge's office handled the application, and the agreement paperwork came last week. It's already been resent back in, but that's what you're here to do is ratify that. The agreement, I believe, is in your backup. You'll see provisions in there, limitations on you as a commissioner's court in terms of reducing his budget because he's receiving these funds and so forth. And it also describes the types of things that he can spend. So I think the agenda item here is specifically about ratifying that agreement. I'm not sure if we can get into a discussion about the budgetary nature, and I know the auditor's office is gonna have to amend the budget and bring that back to you and all of that at this point.
To answer, Captain Chief Wycotton's question, there is an item on the budget adjustments today that would allocate this money. And then from that point forward, he would go through the purchasing procedures and items that he's purchasing, and then they would come back through Cheryl in the normal purchasing process. But the budget would be set today by court.
Yeah, that's further down, Chief.
That's where all the smart people back there, that's what they're saying.
There's a line there.
Because we do meet the minimum requirement. The minimum requirement states that it's to bring salaries across the state to a conformed level. We already exceed those, with the exception of the assistance program. If you exceed that, then you may use it for equipment, supplies, and or modification of salaries. Right now, but this is the very first year they've done that. Sheriff Gray's kind of worried, but we want to make sure there's a track record before you start putting this money on salaries. I mean, nothing's guaranteed, but we'd like to see a track record in place before you start putting this onto people's salaries. And so this very first year, we would kind of like to just use it for equipment if all approved. Not saying that down the road, we will not look at it as salary increases, but right now, being the first year, everyone's trying to figure and feel the way through, that we would like to use it for equipment. And very important deal is in here it states that you can't hold this against me in my budget hearings coming up in May. So I would like that on record.
Did you get out or what?
I would-
It's amazing what y'all
I would
highlight,
like that
huh?
on record.
Yeah. Well,
Can't hold it against me.
I for one appreciate y'all looking out for us too. Quentin, once we accept the agreement, then you shouldn't have to come back on any of this, right?
Right, yeah, that's like Patricia said, that you're basically gonna be, in your budget amendment, adding these funds to this account, and you go through the regular purchasing process and all of that. You always approve every expenditure, but it's
Yeah.
as part of your ordinary process.
Good.
All right.
Chief, do you have an idea what kind of like the shopping list is for this or?
Kind of already, a little bit is that, yes, sir. I mean, a couple things right off the top of my head. We have to software our in-car videos, our video stuff, it's the end of life. Which means everything's gonna have to be software, logging, that's a major step, number one priority. Ballpark in 70,000 off just the top of my head. Not a hard quote, but that's one thing that we're gonna have to lock in. A lot of soft ballistic armor is coming due end of life. I mean, that's another thing we're looking at using it for, and still in the early stages, but those are two major concerns that have to be addressed right off the bat.
Sounds good. I make a motion to approve agenda item 12 as presented.
I'll second that.
Motion seconded, all in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Number 13, discuss and take action to allow the sheriff's department to send a letter of intent regarding future purchases of vehicles.
Here before the board, I was in conversation with the vice president of fleet sales for GM. Y'all know how everything's gotten changed after COVID. His recommendation was, because the schedules and surplus and supplies are, our budget's approved in October. Their open window to order, depending on various models, may be anywhere from March, April, May. It's their window for the dealer to put in orders. We recommended, because we explained, I'm like 2.5 years waiting, the hindrance it puts on small departments. His suggestion was to do a letter of intent. It's non-binary, to get it orders in so that the dealerships will go, okay, this county is looking at purchase. We'll get you in the May window of ordering, even though the budget hasn't been approved and locked in by y'all until the end of September, October 1. So that's why I'm down here before y'all asking for approval. If purchasing could, with y'all's approval, if purchasing could send a letter of intent, just saying, we plan on purchasing this vehicles. So that we're not 1.5 years behind or 1 year behind by the time a budget gets approved in October.
I don't really have a problem with it because you said the right words, not binding. So
How many are?
I think it'd be a good thing.
Waiting on this point, not any right now.
Yeah. How many you're looking at, chief? I mean, what's your
Probably
intent?
general of like we are 5 to
Always.
6. 5 to 6 is what, I know that a motor just blew in one and that was it over to the jail. I mean, it's not worth, not gonna put money into it. It's just not worth it. So probably 5 to 6, somewhere in that neighborhood.
Well, so you need a motion from us.
Well, I just need y'all's approval to say that, I feel like purchasing needs to, it should come from purchasing, but I'm not trying to tell them what to do. I'm just asking.
You all right then, Miss Cheryl?
I'm good with that. I wrote it one last year.
Okay, well, I'll make a motion to approve purchase, to do a letter of intent for the chief on vehicles. And the
And
number should be what, 6?
I'm not looking at going over six.
6.
probably.
Yeah.
Department-wide.
Moving seconded, all in favor, raise your hand. Motion
Thank you,
carries.
Chief.
Thank
Thank
you.
y'all. Have a great day.
Number 14, discuss and approve order 2024-38, amending the budget for the fiscal year ending September 30th, 2024.
At a disadvantage, I didn't make it. So,
I didn't either, Mr. Commissioner.
it's a big one. Is to move $20,000 to the sheriff department vehicle maintenance budget. Because of the delay in getting the vehicles equipped, a lot of our new vehicles are not in use, so we're still having extended maintenance on some of the others. Insurance refunds, $75.98, so the 20 plus the $75.98 is a total of $27,598 going to their vehicle maintenance budget. The next item is the $500,000 grant, reporting the grant revenue and the grant expenditures. And then as the chief mentioned, the intent is not to use that on salaries, but on equipment. So as he goes through that process with purchasing, we'll either move that money to non-capital items, services, or capital equipment, depending on how it needs to be classified.
So have you received that money?
I am not sure if we've actually got it, but we will receive it in advance of it being spent. And we may have received it. I'm not sure if Amy's here, but it's on its way. The next one, emergency management, we had an insurance refund, adding that money back to the budget. Road and Bridge Precinct 2, reclassifying a purchase from operations to capital. Road and Bridge 3, insurance refunds going back to projects. And then the county clerk fund, taking monies that are legislative designated and added it to the line item for purchase of supplies. Projects funds, no budget amendments there. When we get down to the ARP funds, we had $17,000 left in our radio and equipment line item, moving that money to cover permanent increase on the order of ambulances that Rachel presented last time. We still have about 13,000 we need to cover on that.
Sounds good, Mr. Patricia. Make a motion to approve order 2024-38, if I see that right.
It is.
Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor, raise your hand. Motion carries. 15, discuss and take action on remodeling at senior center. Wayne?
On, Larry.
Morning.
Scope of work.
Mhm.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Okay, so Bart and I walked the area over there. Looks very reasonable what you want to do over there. It looks like it's gonna make it a lot more functional for them. Instead of going above and beyond what we were talking about originally, doing some remodeling in the restrooms and the laundry area in the back. So this would be your expense.
Is the senior paying for it?
Yeah.
Center's expense, yes, sir.
So Bart, you're doing it in stages, I guess? Is that the way I read it?
Correct. Yeah, pretty much. It's kind of itemized this way. We'll do it. There's some things that have to be done first before we can do other stuff, so we'll approach it that way.
That sounds good to me, unless y'all have questions. I don't. I've kind of looked at it time to time with them.
Where is the fire alarm thing a part of this, or is it?
No, so
All right.
And that's us, right? Taking that out. Larry, is that what we're gonna?
it's already been removed.
It's out. Okay.
And Cheryl and I have been working on the
To look at it.
bids.
What you got, Cheryl?
I would love to have the remodeling done, because if we go in and install this fire alarm system and the remodeling gets in there and it screws it up, I'd rather them do all their remodeling and then install the fire alarm system.
Sounds good to me.
Okay.
Most of the stuff we're doing, other than one wall, is just aesthetics. Paint, floor, countertops, that kind of stuff. It's not, other than removing one wall, that's all we're doing.
I'll make the motion to approve agenda item 15.
Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carries. Number 16, discuss and take action on the purchase of a pressure washer with minor equipment funds for Road and Bridge 2.
Yeah, we need to replace our pressure washers, more than pressure washer, steam cleaner. We've had nothing but trouble out of the one for the last 10 years and it's beyond repair. And because it is an asset, it has to be before court. I have the funding for it. I think it's, do you have the price, Mr. Sheriff?
88.
88, whatever. The company's out of Bryan that we're looking at buying it from, and they service and sell parts for what we're looking at.
Okay, all right.
Just the old Hotsy bunch? Or a different company?
I think it's a different company, Danny. I didn't talk directly to them. Lee went over and looked at it with them, but when you buy from, and I hate to call business, some of the businesses, you can't get parts for these machines.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
And
Service is
that's
part
what
of
we
it.
got into by buying down south.
Yeah,
So
same thing.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second that.
Moved and seconded, all in favor, raise your hand. Motion carries. 17, discuss and approve amendment to Arctic IT Master Agreement for the ongoing support for functional areas and code assistance for software used by Walker County.
So this is the amendment to the master agreement, and this is allowing them to come in and help Walker County make the necessary revisions or software revisions when needed.
I got questions?
I don't.
That's my motion to approve 17. Moved and seconded, all in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carries. Thank you, Ms. Cheryl.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
18, discuss and take action on interlocal agreement between Walker County and Walker County Emergency Service District 1.
Good morning again.
Everybody?
Nice to see you back.
Yep, I sent a copy of the interlocal agreement since it's been a while since y'all have seen that.
Okay.
And this is hot off the press. And it's regarding the property that we were able to secure last week at the sheriff's auction, which is our preferred location for where we would put. You're welcome. Got another. It's our preferred location of where we expect to build this facility to house the ambulance and the duty crew provided by Walker County EMS. You can see on the cover page, it's approximately 2.25 acres. It's within Riverside city limits. It's less than 1 mile from the target spot we're trying to hit at 980 and 19 at that critical intersection. And I'll show you the map where it is. So barring any unforeseen issues with the property, this is where we will likely build this facility. The first map that you see is just the Google map that shows you it's kind of a wooded territory. And I'll describe for you in case you want to see it or drive by it. If you're driving south on 19, that residence that you see in the left upper corner of the map is a brick ranch house that's set back from the road, and it's got a Lone Star and white field. And then right past that, you'll see a pink boundary marker on the corner of this wooded property. And then as you keep traveling south, you'll see a second boundary marker as a pink ribbon. They're both right on 19. And so you can kind of see the footprint of the property. And then beyond that, there's another residence.
Yes.
And then there's that little pasture with the
I know
two
where
horses
this
in
place is,
right
right here.
70 miles per hour. And
Let me see, action, do we have this, the map?
I actually sent it this morning. Got it. An email.
No?
No, we don't have it.
Okay. I thought I sent something on
Yeah,
Friday.
you did, but it wasn't in a packet. I reviewed the packet. It wasn't. But, so yeah, I'm sorry, I don't have it put on the screen.
Okay.
So the subsequent map shows, I gave you a map orienting you to the south and to the north, since I captured all in one. So the first Walker County CAD map that you see shows where Highway 19 divides. And so that's one of the good, well, there are many good features of this property, but they can turn left or right on 19 here because it's right before the divided highway. So they don't have to go around and make that boulevard turn if they have to go north. They can just turn left off the property. Property does already have 2 driveways that are Texas, and we're presuming we're survey and title work phase now, but there were 2 culverts with 2 driveways already established on the property. So you can see where it is in context of where the highway divides. And then the next map shows a little closer to the city of Riverside, they'll circle the intersection between, or at 980 and 19. And then you can see the property at the bottom of the page, 401, 14014, which is right at the bottom of the page. So you can see it like within the city limits, up to 20 miles from the light.
Y'all done good.
Got any questions, but this is what we're working on. Trying to purchase it from the heirs of the estate that are the property owners, been working on this for months and months trying to locate them. And finally, when it popped up on sheriff's sale, we thought, okay, we'll grab it that way.
Probably made it easier.
Yeah, probably at least you get a fair title to the money.
If we do run into any issues or problems with the property, or if it's reclaimed, within that 6-month period by the owners, then we still have 2 other locations. We're going to continue our conversation with Sam Houston about the property on the corner. Meanwhile, and we also still have Riverside Station 1 property where we could house duty crew if this were to fall through for any reason. So, in that sense, the interlocal agreement to me isn't dependent upon this. However, I want you to know that this is our intent of where we will put the station if we don't have any barriers that prohibit that. Does anybody have any questions about that?
I don't.
Interlocal agreement that, sorry. The interlocal agreement that I resent is, my understanding is it's exactly the same agreement that you already have approved with ESD2. Nothing different. We had gone in at one point and changed it to say squad rather than ambulance. We've recorrected that, given your preference to put an ambulance. And I believe right now it still says that it will be at an agreed upon location. It doesn't indicate an address, but it indicates an agreed upon location. And I'd like to leave it that way because, who knows, we have 6 months before we can actually say, okay, this property gets free.
What about it, Bill?
Oh, well, I like this, but I want to have Rachel visit us a little bit too.
Okay.
Right. Now y'all said last month we were playing chicken. We've made a move, so now it's your move. Okay.
Alrighty. Let Rachel come up and talk about the cost of approving and stuff like that.
Morning, Rachel.
Last time you were here, you guys kind of wanted an itemized thing. Honestly, this project kind of got put on the back burner for us because we're renewing our provider license with the state, so that took priority. All of this information I'm gonna give you guys was presented last summer during budget workshop. So this is all, everybody's seen it before. It's nothing new, so this first page is just a simple breakdown of what it would cost if we were to get a brand new ambulance to go out there. Mark did a really great job of itemizing every single thing that we carry on the ambulance, from assets to soft equipment like medical supplies, stretchers, stair chairs, all of that. So that's right at $188,000 to stock an ambulance and an ambulance. All of the salaries for 3 EMTs and 3 paramedics is what I submitted last summer. So all of these numbers came directly from him over in the auditor's office. So I don't anticipate that any of that has changed since last time. And then we put that cost for uniforms. So with just the ambulance, the personnel, salaries, uniforms, it's a little over $975,000. That doesn't include to kind of stock a house for us to stay in, like beds, desks, things like that. So I would assume we were right at $1 million. All of that other random equipment that nobody thinks about. But that's kind of the most accurate breakdown I can get you for a solid number. I would say the prices on the list for Zoll monitors, ventilators, stretchers, things like that, I would say add 10% to it, because every time I get a quote, the price goes up from the previous quote. So it's pretty time consuming to get quotes and then not do anything with them and then get another quote. This is as close as I can get.
About, okay, they've talked about the ambulance orders as far as where are you at as far as incoming and what you?
We should have two, hopefully, come in December or right around then, and then another one next summer. The two that are coming in would replace two of our reserve units that need to go out of service. The one next summer would replace another one that is, it's gonna be what we talked about, that's basically inoperable at this point. It would have to be towed to the manufacturer to be looked at. So we have not done that because it would be extremely costly. So that's where we're at.
And do you feel like you could find, we talked a couple of weeks ago, I guess 4 weeks ago, about a holdover, like a used one to kind of limp us through. Do you feel like there's one available out there for like?
So
Go ahead.
we did find several. If you guys would like, I am not opposed to bringing you guys a list and you can decide what you would like us to have, because I think each person up here is gonna have a different opinion on what kind of used ambulance we should get, whether it should be a Chevy, a Ford, a Dodge, this box, that box. So if we're buying used, I mean, we're limited on what we're getting anyways. But if you guys want to approve us for the amount, we can start looking and involve purchasing, but if we're not approved to get one, then I don't really want to waste their time.
I want to make one clarification. That one that was brought before us had that Ford motor. That was just a junk motor. That's.
And I understand that, but I also said that it was just an example, that was not the one we were gonna buy. We were just asking if we could have funds to get one. So.
That's about like a D7F, Brandon.
Okay, so
I'll leave it at that.
I got a G.
That a G.
That's not what Jimmy presented it as.
Oh,
Get my train of thought back. Okay. We've spoken verbally to the ESD at the court level and said, hey, y'all build it and we'll put an ambulance there. We've said that out loud, but there's no official commitment from the court to do it. One court cannot verbally commit a future court to something. Since this first came up, we have a new commissioner, we have a new judge, and I could have lost on Tuesday and we could have had a new person sitting over here. So courts turn over. The way you commit your court and your organization is through an agreement. I mean, that's why ESD 2 has an agreement. So they're committed to us. We're committed to them. So this basically, there's no financial numbers in this yet. We have an idea what the financial commitment is going to be. We know, I think most of us up here agree that we could use, or we need at least one more ambulance in the county. I think we could easily do two in the ambulance and ambulances in Walker County to take care of who we got. And that's on us to fund. ESD 1, they're moving forward with the handshake deal. So, which I think is, it's risky for them. It's probably pretty sure, but it's risky for them. So putting this agreement in place just puts a piece of paper saying, hey, we as a court are officially committed. When you build your building out there, we're going to have an ambulance that we're going to staff it. So my motion is to approve the local agreement between Walker County and Walker County ESD number 1.
I'll second that.
Move second. Any other discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed. All right.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank y'all for coming.
Appreciate it, folks. That's good.
Where we at? 19, discuss damage to bridge from recent rains.
There's an attachment, doesn't come across very well, but y'all should have got it in Excel there right yonder. The last 2 rounds of rain, the 20 inches in a day and a half, and then the 12 inches in 3 or 4 hours that we got, did some damage in my I guess I have the majority of the bridges. I found I have like 5 or 6, and
I've got quite a few of them in Grand Ranch, but I don't.
Yeah.
Other than that, Robinson Creek, I think is my only other one, and they're pretty well all on that list.
So I went and looked at them, and they weren't. We had done some maintenance work around them last fall, and we ended up cleaning up underneath one. It wasn't that big of a deal, but these last 2 rains, not only did it scour the sides some more, but it lowered the flow line of my creeks, in some places 3 feet. Get down below the head walls and the supports on each side there. I'm sure the pillars still go down deeper, but there's some huge work coming up on these bridges here. I haven't looked at y'all's, but the ones that are highlighted in yellow are scour, erosion and stuff like that. So I don't know if y'all looked at yours or not after.
I've looked at some of them and yeah, we've taken quite a bit of damage.
Yeah.
So
I talked to John Waldo at TDM, and then the Houston, I don't have her name off, the Houston Regional Area Teaching Texas Department of Emergency Management to talk about were there any state funds available for this. Right now, there doesn't appear to be. We have some options. One of those is to build a mediation project and get it in the file. So if a disaster does get declared, we can pull these out and have them ready as part of our hazard mitigation project box. You don't root for a disaster, so maybe that's not a good option. The second option is to visit with TxDOT. I have not done that yet. I wanted to come here first before I approach somebody else about that and see if they have any funds that they might be able to do in their bridge maintenance funding. You know, they're building a bridge for me right now. And honestly, that bridge is lowered below the flow line of the supports. I mean, the flow line has dropped down below there also. So it's a big deal. I'm visiting with Waldo again this week. He's going to go look at mine. If y'all want, I'll have him contact y'all if you want to come look at y'all's. And I'm going to stay with the TDM stuff just in case. I would like to approach TxDOT if y'all are cool with that, with me kind of representing the county.
I think that'd be good with, you might come up with some funding that precinct 2 could use.
Then possibly even contact the GrantWorks people and see what is out there possibly for that. And if none of those play out, it's going to be expensive because in today's world, you can't just go out and put stuff in the riverbed and stuff like that to fix a stream. It's floodway, it's Army Corps of Engineer approved engineered plan. So it gets expensive. So I just wanted to bring this up here saying, I mean, I received it and like we fixed one nice thing. My very worst bridge was Highland Creek, and that's the one they're fixing for me. So I had like 19 lines and 6 of them were Highland Creek Bridge. So they went away. And like 3 of them were delineators. Most of those were just faded, and we've already swapped those out and got those taken care of. But I still have 4 bridges with severe scouring, erosion, and stuff like that. So I wanted to get that up on the radar from my side. Okay. Just
yeah, I'm fine with it, Bill.
Good.
I mean, I don't know about everybody else, but I'm fine with it.
I'm good with that. You have any other ideas or?
It'd be nice to get some money. I mean.
Yeah, it would.
Yeah, regardless of where it comes from,
I'm just gonna throw this out there. We used to have a bridge fund and I priced painting one of these bridges, going in there, sandblasting, and painting it with good epoxy. A couple of years ago, it was 80,000. So, I mean, it might be something that you look at doing 1 or 2 a year just to protect what we've got, just from the scaling the rust, because they're metal structures.
I think it's a good idea. Just set a fund up, just rotate it out. Like we used to get them from the weight scale, but it went away. Yeah. Yeah.
That might be a discussion for workshop.
Yeah.
I got it. We talk about that at the time.
Way to get too much to put in the paper if we discuss it right now.
I agree with that. And we used to get a lot more money out of the way station, and that helped us a lot. And then when it went downhill, we kind of did away.
I'm not gonna say it really went downhill. It went downhill from us getting money, but
right, that's what I'm saying.
You hope that the enforcement is that people are complying with the law.
Right, that's what I'm talking about financially.
So
absolutely not on the enforcement plan. Absolutely not.
Yeah, so
and that's all
if
I
that's
had.
the case, then
yeah,
hey, they're doing their job.
Absolutely. You hope they have 0 down. That's what you hope for. All right, so that's just a heads up thing, and I'll make a couple more phone calls and
I'm good with it.
Something back out. So that's it.
All right, number 20, discuss and take action on tax abatement application for Desiree. You got anything?
Morning, guys.
Morning.
Good morning.
Y'all state your name for Carrie.
Andrew Summerall with Debbie Reed.
I'm Evan Horn, HORN, with Ernst & Young.
You can say a little bit if that works for you.
Yeah.
Sure. Appreciate the time this morning. I know we've been in front of you guys a couple times now. Really, the reason for this is we're asking for you guys for a tax abatement for the solar project here. There's really two main reasons why we're asking for this ultimately. Number one, as we've talked about, we're gonna go forth, we're working with management here in the coming month and working to see if we're gonna move towards financing. This tax abatement is it's a big piece of that. I mean, ultimately, we had locked in the energy that the price of energy we were gonna sell for. Inflation has made the cost go up, so every little bit really helps us to help potentially move this project forward. And then as well, my companies, we're long-term owner operators, and we really want to be somewhere that ultimately we want to work with the county and be somewhere that works. So that's really why we're here. And Evan can give you an overview if that's helpful. The other thing we've added since we last talked is a community benefit agreement. So we proposed if this project moves forward, $250,000 to go towards the firehouse fire department house that's proposed to be built that I believe is right adjacent to this project. The $250,000 towards that, and then $25,000 to the Walker County taxpayer as well.
So on top of that, again, Judge, from just conversations with you that we had, we've kind of revised what our proposal would look like, took some of that feedback on top of adding the $275,000 of payments that Andrew just mentioned, right? Some of, what we also drawn up a proposals for a payment in lieu of tax, right? That's where effectively this project guarantee a certain amount of revenue to the county for a period of 10 years. It's not going to be subject to your tax rate calculation, so y'all can run your county business however you would, even as if this solar farm wouldn't build, but actually just collecting revenue that then you can divert to whatever that is, whether that's your general fund, to other special projects that might happen, right? Doing this type of agreement affords y'all that flexibility. So that's kind of what we've added there. And again, I think, the combination of both of those over a 2-year period, is close to about $2 million in payments. So again, this isn't there's not a final agreement sitting in front of y'all. There's still public hearings and other things to do, but, we've taken the feedback that we've done, revised that proposal, and that's, I think, just what we're in general asking you to consider.
Well, we met last court, our committee did.
Mm-hmm.
And the committee, you know who it is, Judge, myself, Andy, and our attorney. And our committee is going to recommend to the court not to approve the abatement.
Okay.
You still got a chance. You got 3 guys here you hadn't dealt with, but from the committee, that's our recommendation to the court.
Okay.
So.
You got any questions for these guys?
I don't have anything. Did I miss something?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and I'm gonna go take recommendation of the committee.
Have we seen?
If y'all move forward with, you're always welcome in our county. I mean, but as far as from the court, that's what our recommendation is.
Well, and I guess my hang up on the whole project is, our abatement policy follows job creation. And there's none with this project. And, if it was more job creation, which is what this falls back to, I know it's a big project, but, I'm not going with it. I'm sorry. So.
You got questions? Yeah.
Yeah, have we seen the proposal with the two? I mean, I know I got a lot of paperwork from you guys. I haven't got some recently. So have we seen the proposal with the 2 million over 10 years?
Yeah, the committee did.
Well, I need to see that before I can vote then. I think that's fair for me.
Yeah, I think that's fair, Bill. You'll be able to see it.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet. So I don't see how we can take any action on this. With 3 of us not having seen what they proposed.
I'm fine with it. You good with that, Judge?
That's fine.
We can move it to the next court.
Yeah, let's kick it down the road 2 weeks if that's all right, so we can see the stuff already. Thank you.
Appreciate y'all.
Thank y'all.
We'll pass on 20.
Thanks a lot.
21, discuss and take action on Palmer Cemetery historical marker. Good morning.
Good morning. My name is Nancy Wells. And gentlemen, I am the owner property on the rig. This has been in my family now for 5 generations. And it's been a cemetery that we have really taken care of. I have a year ago, registered it with the Historic Cemetery Division of, Texas Historical Commission. And with the intent of getting information from them on how to properly restore it. Several of the graves, have fallen into the grave. The stones have sunk down. And, 3 weeks ago, I spoke to the marker division because it's always been my intention to put up a historical marker on the discussing the history there. It's one of the early settlers of Walker County. And he has a famous or rather infamous father who was a signer of the Texas Declaration of Independence. And I found out 3 weeks ago that there had been a marker request already made to mark the cemetery that's there. And that was the first time I had heard anything about it. I have, I'm here today to ask you to rescind your approval because I have some serious concerns that putting a marker saying here's a cemetery will draw people onto private property, which it's already done, and which has caused one of the graves to be uncovered, disturbed, dug up. So my intent right now is to say I'm not against creating something that would commemorate the family, but I really would prefer not to have any kind of marker saying, here's a cemetery, because it's all on private property. And I have put up signs that say no trespassing, but we all know that that's probably.
So is the marker already there?
The marker, there is a marker there that I believe was put up by Precinct 3 that is temporary in nature, I understand. But the marker has not been made. It has not been cast by the Texas Historical Commission. And I understand that Judge Christian has put a temporary hold on it. And what I'd like to do is send it permanently, allow me to enjoy the privacy of my property, which is under lease for grazing. And my lessee has expressed some concerns about his cattle, should people come on the property. So for all of these reasons, I'm asking.
Sadly, people tear up cemeteries. I don't understand why they do it, but it's just, we have that issue on Bowden Road with our cemeteries out there.
So I went back and looked, we wrote a letter to the Historical Commission, I signed it. But we were not presented with the application that states, I blank certify that I'm the cemetery administrator or landowner of the property noted herein and further clarify that I have read the information regarding official Texas Historical Commissions. All that was blank. We didn't get a copy of this in court. I went back and looked in the agenda.
Let me take it from here. This cemetery is a 20 by 20 or plus or minus. It's right. It abuts the county right away. It's a wood fence in the front and it's been fenced in behind it. We cleared the right of way up to the fence because the descendants of Mr. Palmer, back in those days, found the cemetery and pretty dang excited about it. It's like say his father was one of the founders, the signers of the Declaration of Independence for the state of Texas. So he wanted to mark it because it basically had been lost. Nobody knew where it was. Her family probably knew where it was, but nobody else out there knew where it was. So we cleaned it up the right of way. We didn't do anything on private property. And then we put a sign that says, hey, this is private property. You know, the cemetery is on private property. And then she has some signs on the fence also that say private property. So the reason that letter wasn't included is because we didn't go on the cemetery. We didn't go on private property. We didn't do anything outside the road right of way. All we said was, you have a permission to put a sign in the road right of way. marking this spot. So nobody's hiding anything. We didn't touch private property.
If I would have seen this application, I would have probably told you to table it until you talked to landowner before voting on it.
I'd like to show
Oh, we
you.
visited.
We
So-
did visit.
So this thing is.
That's fine.
abuts the
Well,
County property.
You did not visit with me about this.
This thing abuts the county road.
Yeah, but
It
right away.
is 40 feet from the road surface.
It abuts, it's right inside, it abuts the fence on the right, on the property
And it's a
But what is the
dedicated,
right of way on the road?
to the fence.
That's about 40 foot. You're telling me that your right of way is 40 foot from the edge of the road?
It was, but it's at least, it's not 40 feet from the center to the fence up there.
As you.
We
can
talked
So
see-
do you own the land that the cemetery's on? You
I
own the
do.
cemetery?
I do, and it is within my property here. It's right across from the water tower there. You can see it's flat. You can't really, you can walk up to the fence, but you can see a couple of stones, but you can't really read them. You have to come inside the property to read them properly. And so, you know, Bill, I appreciate your efforts here, and I understand where they're coming from. But I think realistically, you're gonna see that people are gonna have to come onto the property in order to see it. And coming up to the fence does
I
not.
guess this is fenced in, right?
Mhm. It is now totally fenced. in.
Okay, was it not fenced before? Just didn't
It
know?
was, there was the side that was to the road, was fenced. Recently, within the last couple
That's
of
cool.
months, I have had it fenced in.
Yeah, that's the road right.
Because it was. Because things were coming up.
so years ago, BJ and Dr. Montgomery went around and, went over all these old cemeteries.
Mhm.
Andy, do you have any idea where this one fell? I mean, I would have to look it up because if they were,
Has this been filed in the?
It has been,
records as a designated?
it was, I spoke to the Cemetery Division of the Texas Historical Commission last March, and it was officially in their list now.
But has it been filed in Walker County as a designated family cemetery plot?
it says here in 1856, it was dedicated, a 1/4 acre family cemetery.
If it, not by me.
Even historical?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. Because access to a cemetery, it is state law that the public has to have access to a cemetery.
Correct.
Cannot deny the public access, even if it's just family.
Reasonable access.
Reasonable access.
Very clear,
Reasonable.
reasonable access.
Yes,
I mean, we have lots of cemeteries.
I seen Quentin standing up, so
Closed gates.
I challenged.
But that's part of the state law, that if there is a cemetery on the property, like Clinton just
I have
said.
no
has
problem
to be
if they want to
reasonable.
contact me and let me give them off, authorize it, but just to have it marked, I think is an invitation for the kind of damage that Commissioner Watt's talking about.
I do agree with that. I'm just saying with the historical code or what the Texas Department of Vital Statistics states, so.
So the map that you're talking about, Commissioner, it's a map, developed. The historical, the local society has that map. I don't know the reference to that map, whether the cemetery is included or not, but
Yeah, I don't know.
it's in the state listing. It may bring a little bit, depending on where they found it. 'Cause that map was done probably
Yeah,
early 2000s.
yeah. And it is some discrepancies on it too, because we found one of them already.
Yeah, that map does.
Cemeteries that
own it.
Yeah.
Walker County Historical.
Yeah, we quite a good amount my way that's way off in the pasture, not up by the roads. You know, that you don't even know they exist, which that would probably be better if it was off the road.
Well, it has.
But it's
stayed
not.
pristine because it has not been allowed to have trespass.
Interesting.
I would like to leave the sign, but put it up by the fence. Not, I mean, if they're gonna get out and walk up to the fence, they're gonna get out and walk up to the fence. And if the marker's up there to learn about it, then they learn about it. And that Dodge community, like I said, y'all have been there for 6 generations, and I think about half that community's been out there about 10. I mean, they've been out there that long, so they're descendants of this family out there all over the place. That, probably think it's pretty cool to have a marker on their cemetery, of this, one of the founders of their community. So I say the fact that it's in the road right away, I would be happy to move it up. So it's not as you drive down the road, you see it, just a random person, just drive down the road, see it and turn around and come back or whatever like that. But if you're kind of looking for it, there it is. I think, like I said, the guy that found it, I wish I can remember his name. I apologize for that.
Name's Wayne Carter.
That's it, Mr. Carter. He was pretty excited. People he had talked to on his Dodge Facebook page were pretty excited about it. So I mean, it's gonna be open, it's gonna be seen driving down the road, and this just kind of gives a little informational stuff that goes with it. So
I'm gonna have to differ with you on this one, Bill. I'm gonna go with the landowner because I know the damage that comes on cemeteries. We deal with it all the time out our way. So.
Okay.
That's where I stand. I'm always.
And this is just to deny it as, or this is just to rescind it as a historical marker. This
Yes.
has nothing to do with the other.
No, the cemetery's there. It don't go away, so.
Or rescind our letter that we sent.
Yeah. That's all this motion or this item.
So we make a
going-
motion, see where it goes,
Well,
Bill.
I'm not gonna make a motion yet because this is one of those things, it's a sign is what it is. Do we ask permission from people when we put a stop sign or a street sign or a warning sign or a curb sign or a limited vision sign? We don't. It's in the road right.
Cemetery's a little different than signs, though.
And a 20 by 20 cemetery that's up against a fence on the road right away, that anybody that wants to see it could still walk up there and see it. It's not like, it doesn't magically go away because this marker that says what it is not there.
So what was your proposal?
My thought was to rescind the cemetery marker and put up a historical marker, which I will be happy to fund. It is, talking about the historical significance of the family, the fact that, it was one of the early, they were there in 1825. So I am interested in developing a historical marker that talks about the family, but not specifically talking about cemetery, because I think that would be an invitation to bring people onto the
I'll
property.
put that historical marker right by that cemetery anyways, right?
I put the marker pretty much, where the current marker is.
So have you seen
Current-
what
what the
Mr.
current
Carter
marker,
is,
where's his current
what he wants on the
Mhm.
one that he has
I don't even know. what
ordered? Have you seen?
I mean,
his
there's
thing?
some-
I have a copy from them, then it's just, it says Palmer Family Cemetery established 1856. Is pretty much what I am seeing. And this is the paperwork from the Texas Historical Commission.
The marker does go in detail. I know most of the ones I've seen
Mhm.
has a story on them, so.
And that's what I've read.
So what is the difference here? I mean, is this just a marker?
Oh, I mean, no, see, I kind of changed. I wasn't aware of this last part. So if it's gonna be more in detail, what's there and stuff like that, then
Yeah. That's what I'm getting at. Can we find
Yeah.
some ground?
Yeah,
Well,
that's my intention is to develop the language in the marker for a more historical marker and not just something that's.
There's a picture there. And it just says Palmer Family.
I mean, you
Cemetery.
see historical markers up and down the roads all the time. There's one out on 30
I
we
mean,
drive by all the time.
We dedicated these historical markers at free will out there, but they are in depth. They give a little history on them. So I was under the presumption that's what we were talking about, but obviously not.
to be honest,
Okay.
I was too.
And
I have no trouble with pausing this one if we're gonna get something more in depth. I have
Official.
no issues with that.
Maybe get with Mr. Carter or whoever you said.
I'll be happy to talk to him. I actually, the one time I did speak with him, which was when I found out that he had been on the property and he dug up the grave. He told me that vaguely he was aware of a marker kind of in the process. And I told him then if he would allow me to pause that, to move forward with something more of a historical nature, more of a story. as opposed to just a cemetery mark.
Okay,
Yeah.
now I'm understanding.
And so, this, and then I come to find out that this is already prior,
Go along with that, Bill?
predated my discussion with Mr. Carter.
But
I
to
think-
ease things up though, I mean, if this thing abuts the county road, then, and it is a dedicated cemetery, then the public has a right to go into it. So you're gonna have to get a sign that's got phone numbers.
They have a right.
Does this thing have a board at all? Does this cemetery have a board or is it just a cemetery?
It's just a cemetery.
Well, there's gonna have to be some kind of way of notifying the landowners, which is you. And the only way you're gonna do that is put a phone number out there. Unless you want them coming to your house. I mean, they do have the right to go into the cemetery.
Reasonable access.
Reasonable access.
Right.
Reason, they can't just come in there at midnight
Yeah.
and off
Exactly.
crazy hours and all that.
And
kind of
there,
stuff.
therefore, that's more reason to put the phone number first
Yes,
so
sir.
that you can say you were contacted. Or not.
And that's doable.
So anyway, you good with pausing for now, Bill? And let's,
Yeah, I'll make that motion. That's fine.
I would hope that you
I'll
would get a better historical.
I'll make the motion to pause it, pause the submission of the process on the historical marker and, allow Ms. Wells to visit with Mr. Carter and see if we can work out some kind of a better plan.
I can give you a second on that.
And move to second, all in favor, raise your hand. Motion carries.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, man.
Thank you, Ms. Wells. 22, discuss and take action on the removal of YMCA from the jury donation list.
What is the deal?
So
with that?
YMCA closed down in Huntsville.
Did it?
So when they donate, it goes out of the county.
Okay.
So that's my motion.
Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor, raise your hand. Motion carries. 23, discuss and take action on the renewal of tax exemption status for for Samuel Walker Houston Museum and Cultural Center. That's in the form of a motion.
I'll make that motion.
Are you second it?
I'll make it, but that's your motion. I'll
Yeah.
second that motion.
Moved and seconded, all in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carries. 24, discuss contracts and ARPA fund status. So we all got this from Miss Allen. I've been reaching out to them. A lot of them the generator's still on back order. I talked to James Morrison. They're getting receipts together for their funds. Everybody's had COVID in their office. I talked to ESD 2. They're working, they bought all that, but they have asked for the $2,600 to be allocated back to them for radio funds for other purchases they had that's left over their funds. 3 still waiting on their trucks to come in, and I'm still waiting to hear back from some of the others.
I said the Stubblefield's the last one I
That
did.
we're waiting on Dan to get a variance in
Okay.
to Andy. They're in the works on that. We followed up this past week. Did you ever get anything from Dan on that? So we'll have a variance on that on the next court. I reached out to the radio people, hadn't heard back. Else. Bob knows about that. Ms. Allen, you got anything, please?
No, it was just to bring the court,
So I'm following up with them. I'm seeing where we're at on status and so.
What about the ones downtown or, Tri-County?
that one is, one that, I think, needs some attention. They are direct ARP funds, and the way that contract is written, it, is for, eligible costs through 9/30 of 23. And based on the historical amounts that, the invoices we're receiving, it does not appear they're going to spend all of those funds. So, conversation is needed with Tri-County to get the best estimate of what they're going to spend. Then court make the decision if you want to retain that allocation, move that out of direct ARP and move something else in there, or expand the contract in some way that would cover costs that would be eligible to be within that money. Originally they had asked for 600,000, 200 a year, and then plus the 38,000 that we were paying annually. it may be that we need to move those two annual 38,000 payments out of there back in the general fund, but basically discussion needed because it definitely appears some contract negotiation needs to occur.
So I talked to Tracy or Judge Swanson, and she's getting with Evans to talk about all that.
Okay.
She's on their board.
But the contracts, are we gonna get them reapproved? I would assume, I mean, it says
I
they're
would-
expired.
I would assume.
Those would definitely need to have an amendment to the contract formally approved by court. Signed.
'Cause like ESD3, they're waiting on those trucks to get in. We'll just have to renew the contract and roll. So. Anybody
Yeah,
got?
in most cases on those, just amendment to the contract that changes the date to then.
Is the allocation, is it 2024, December 2020 allocated, is it 2025?
2020, these,
On the direct
ESD are not direct ARP.
Yeah, just the
They're
Tri-County
private
one.
funds. So
With the
it doesn't
Tri-County
matter.
ones.
the Tri-County definitely would need to be done pretty soon so that the court can decide what they're gonna do with that money. It has to be contractually obligated by 9/30/24.
Okay,
for that.
And if we reallocate it, then we've got to find another project to spend the money.
Yeah.
Ambulance.
Ambulance, I like that idea.
Awesome.
Everybody good with that?
Yeah,
I'm good.
All right, we'll move
Thank you.
on
Thank
to
you.
25, discuss grievance for, we're gonna skip that and come back to that at the end for number 26. Andy, you're up. Public hearing concerning plat number 2024-002, replat of lots 40 and 41, block 2, section 1 of the Wildwood Shore subdivision, GW Robinson Survey, A454, Hunter's Creek. 6.
Oh, wait, no, but the court already took action. West previously granted variance.
Oh. 1018. Sorry. Anybody got any public hearing comments?
The Copeland's here. Online, anybody online?
Not of that name, no.
It don't clock. I think it just turned 1018.
By the time you said it, it's turning.
There you go.
Ben 19, open hearing closed. We go to 27. Discuss and take action on plat number 2024-002, replat of lots 40 and 41, block 2, section 1 of the Wildwood Shore subdivision.
Move for approval.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carries. Number 30, discuss and take action on a request for acceptance of plans for plat application, plat number 2022-041, Governor's Ranch subdivision, Charles Hill Survey, A268, precinct 1.
This is our plan review. The developer is seeking
What's yours?
this particular application to move forward with construction.
David's about to, Andy.
Oh, here he is. Come on. The developer is seeking to move forward with construction without bond. So we typically see a bond put in place, the court has to approve, the plat wants to be approved. They're looking for plan approval, preliminary plan approval today, plan approval on the plans they submitted. The plat would not be approved until construction was substantially complete and the 10% balance put in place by the developer. So it's you guys have seen a few projects done this way. This is the way to see before court today is the approval of the plans that have been submitted to go along with the proposed development so that they can have a plan set to begin construction on. This would then be folded into our development permit and everything else we do, start the process when we normally see started. Stephanie has given us a notice that they have no additional comments on plans as they have been submitted to date.
No, we're just looking forward to getting started.
Tell her your name, David.
I'm sorry, David Parkerson. I'm a licensed engineer and a representative of Atlas Land Partners LLC. The design engineer is Texas Professional Engineering. They are available, I believe, on Zoom if anybody had any questions. Atlas Land Partners LLC is the owner of the property. We've been underway in planning and review for some time, well over a year. And very excited to get moving on this project to the next step.
It's gonna be water wells, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right, I read the report. How do you intend on holding people to the fire to make them do 350 and better on the footage?
With our well drilling requirements, they'll have to notify Zach at Holland at the groundwater district, as well as, whatever permits required through the county and the state.
So they're gonna put a note on the plat. And then my understanding is you guys were gonna include that in the restriction.
It's in the restrictions, yes.
And David, the only other question I had was the access to the cemetery in the back. It'll be noted on the plat.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And the plat will come back to court once construction is complete. One advantage to the developer on that is that if run into something construction wise that needs them to adjust some of that stuff.
Yeah.
It allows them some room to. One of the advantages of doing it the way that they're. So the plat will not get approved for the transfer of the lots until after construction.
And the only other thing that, so everybody knows, aware of, we're on our overforce a little. Y'all have done paid, a substantial amount on the, force a little, but we've run into some more problems. So y'all know that we've got to work that out too.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Between now and the filing of plat, the developer would like to get the court to waive the final review fees.
Everybody's on the same page.
Those have to be taken care of prior to the filing.
Yeah. So we got some time, so.
Yeah.
All right. So, any more questions?
I don't, as long as y'all do something with the water part of it.
All right, I'll make a move, we accept the, plans for plat number 2022-041.
Second.
Moving second, all in favor, raise your right hand.
Sir.
Been a long time getting there, huh?
No, y'all are ready to get started. We'll be moving quickly now. I'm assuming that together with Andy and have a pre-construction meeting.
Very quickly if we can, and I'll talk with him.
Yeah, we now with this have the ability to bring on. So we'll set that up.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
All right, number 32, discuss and take action on Janet LeBlanc request for variance to on-site sewer facility regulations of the Walker County for permit application number 2023-0540.
Andy, is that the last house on that road on the left? It appears to be. But there's your turnaround here, actually. Where's the road?
Make this turn, it's right.
Oh, it's on the right over there. Okay.
So these are the issue that they have is this home right here. It's their belief that home was built in the 40s or 50s, but under the current policy the court has, if it's a grandfathered system and they get a letter that says it meets the setbacks, we're allowed to leave it in place. We have to show some due diligence that says grandfathered. Normally, we can try to find some record. We were unable to locate any paper record from the appraisal district or anywhere else that identified it as being in place before 1980. You guys have presented the court considers this grandfather as far as the system goes that allows us to proceed permitting. The way TCQ works is the property under any new permit. So we have to look at any system that's on the property when we do new permit.
So that's how this come up. They're doing another house.
That's property is that property.
Okay.
And we've got the letter from the engineer.
Yeah, we got the
Yeah, you got
environmental.
letter from sanitarian and owner's information is that's the house is, our grandfather did on septic systems since 1980. So if it was built in the 40s or 50s, it would well exceed that. Plus you have the report.
Yeah, well, I make a motion to approve it.
Moving second, all in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carries. 33, discuss and take action on Jerry Ashworth request for determination of administrative completion for permit filed.
This is similar, actually. So Mr. Ashworth has a mobile home park. Go down. These are cards.
Just the one out there on the right, Andy? Or Bill, do you know? I guess it. Maybe Brandon's pretty sure.
Yep, says.
Not sure.
Says it's still pretty
Shall
sure.
be on the left on 190.
I was just curious to where it was at.
Originally, all the things. Going out, it's left. Or side one.
Total satisfaction.
I did.
I don't know, I don't know really.
It was originally under Norma Davis. The previous, all the previous permits. Where's this whole file?
I need to get my head where this one is.
Back up one.
Oh, well.
Two.
This is
No. Cross the
Phelps
line.
slab. Phelps slab is here,
Yeah.
and it's right here on the side.
Is that the one? Not the one that,
Yeah, that one?
I knew that earlier.
Alrighty.
What's his name?
I'll tell you, buddy, run this place.
He actually has this property as well. This is actually two.
Oh, okay, next law more.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'll put you in this thing.
Yeah.
All right, so what do you
All right,
want
I
to do?
know where we're at. Didn't realize it was in the house, but.
Should be one
Yeah,
more.
everywhere.
Oh, no, that may be. It. Here we go. All right, so this is an old submittal that shows a 2-bedroom home here. Okay. The scroll down just a little bit. You're going right. I always say the opposite.
Go the other way. There you go.
Okay, so this one is from 2004, right? And it shows those mobile homes in there, right? So the current systems that are out there, this mobile home that resided in that little spot there that says 2-bedroom hasn't been there in quite some time, right? So I went back on aerials and I could track it back to say the early 90s and show that there was something in there back then, but there isn't anything there, hasn't been anything in there for quite some time. There is go back, center that picture. There is a conventional tank represented by the applicant that's there with the conventional system, which actually shows up on this old 2004 drawing as being there, although there's no home there. There hasn't been any home there in a while. And the most recent drawing down here. Keep going. The most recent drawing, this is sketched in, right, kind of showing the location. It shows the new system is put in here, the new system is put in here, an existing one here, an existing one here. But it didn't show this system there at all, presumably because there was no home there at the time, right? So what we're before Commissioner's Court today is he's seeking grandfather status essentially on this system to be able to put this unit back in place. He's saying back in place. He's the buyer. He didn't mark, he didn't develop the park originally. He wasn't the permittee on these original permits. He's the current owner, right? He's seeking to put a meter in, put this unit back in place, connect to the old system that is there and move forward with it. I would suggest in our policy, even if the court allows it to do a change out on that, he would need a letter from the sanitarian.
Yeah.
I think his thing is if the court's not even consider it being grandfathered, hiring the sanitarian to do the letter for him is sort of money down the drain. Right? So I don't think he's against doing that. It's part of this, but doesn't really want to move forward to do that until he's sure the court would be open to consider grandfather. Because otherwise it doesn't get.
How big a house is he talking about putting back in there?
The discussion is to put a 2-bedroom back in there.
That's the reason I asked, because all these pictures, these other houses are small houses, so. I mean, I'm assuming that if the system was working,
our rule is you have to go back in with essentially the same size that came out. If you increase it, you have to upgrade.
Absolutely.
So grandfather status is really what we're talking about. Administrative determination of grandfather status. Court. You guys now have what I have. Again, I couldn't get this one back pre-1980 either.
Yeah.
The documents, what you guys have.
I think
85 is the pictures and the appraisal. Those were stamped 85.
Yeah.
That's as far back as I could get.
I get, we don't know how it worked back in those days.
No, no. I can't give you any information about the system itself. And I don't even have a sanitarian report at this point.
Yeah.
To give you one.
No, I think we need I think we need a sanitarian's report on the thing to go look at it, find out how, we don't know how much is there. It might be a tank in 20 feet. We have no idea what's there. And grandfather doesn't mean you get to skip the rules. It just means it was there before our regulations took place.
Right. So if it's administratively grandfathered, our current rule is our current policy is you can switch out the home for a home of the same size or smaller. As long as you have a sanitary report saying you meet all the setback requirements. That is our rule that we have in place. The state their norm is to trigger anytime you replace one thing on the property, anything that's not in code, all comes up to code. Several years ago, there's a lot of these properties where there's a large property and there's a house over here and there's a house over here and they were like, why do I have to replace the working conventional system on this house whenever I'm just trying to put a new house in over here. And so the court has this policy now that we handle it that way.
Right.
Any approval by court, the administrator's grandfather wouldn't waive his requirement to provide the sanitarian's report and fill out the swap out letter and all this. Unless the court waives those requirements.
No, I don't think we waive it at all. I'm not gonna recommend it.
So was there a house there now? I mean, you said this was a vacant lot, so we don't know. I mean, how long the system's not been working.
20 years.
Yeah.
Several years.
Yeah.
Based on the aerial photography.
What's your thoughts, Bill? My thoughts is to make him run all the traps, that he goes and gets a sanitarian to come evaluate it, and look at it and get a sanitarian's report on it. And I think we write in there that the restriction of the house size, that how big it is.
That's pretty well what we make everybody else do.
That's exactly.
Go get all the information and bring it back.
Bring it back. Yeah.
So for today, they're not gonna make a finding of administratively grandfathered.
No.
They need to go get all the other stuff and bring it back to you.
Yes.
How big is this track? Is it
It's only 205 by 440. So
I'm getting it. It's a small track.
it's less than 2.
Yeah. It's not 10 acres.
And you've got 3 houses on it, 4 houses,
Well, you
3
can
houses.
see, this is a 60-foot diameter
Spray field, yeah. Yeah, you got them crammed in there. If it ain't working right, then we definitely need to be concerned.
Yeah, he's got one right next to it.
Yeah.
With a conventional, so.
Okay, I can communicate.
4 houses on this.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at, yeah.
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 There's four now. This is the
It'd be
fifth.
five right now.
Yeah.
It's getting kind of crowded.
How does that work into our subdivision policy?
Well, this park was in place back, before we adopted the mobile home park regulations. This would be a mobile home park under new regulations, so current regulations. If you add an existing unit to an existing park, it has to come with the code. But we have documents showing at one point that they had
one there.
disclaimed a unit there, right? So the question is about the wastewater system.
Yeah.
And our code was adopted on mobile home parks was adopted well after we started permitting on site stretch.
Yeah, and the thing is, if anything fails in there, then he's out of room anyhow to put another road system in there.
Including that two-bedroom in the
Yeah.
northwest corner. So do we need action on this or can we just give you guidance? What do we?
Now, if the court tables this or doesn't take action, I'll get with him.
Okay.
With what you guys
Good
told
with
me and
Yeah.
bring that back.
Some
Yeah,
more
that's what I
action? Yep. All right. Sorry, Carrie, on all this spinning around. We're gonna go back to 25. Discuss grievance for employee SE, and we're gonna go into executive session under 551.074.
You're a second.
Four.
And
10:36. All right, time is 11:02. We're back from executive session. No action was taken. Public comments,
I guess our media left.
questions of media, questions Commissioners Court. I moved adjourn at 11:02.